Girl, you the bandit, and she love me when I'm in it, and she never be pretending, nothing is real. She gon' tell you what she bought it, cause she know you can't afford it. Know you can get it, looking exquisite, no competition, stay on the pivot. Who be watching, they be plotting, she so motherfucking independent. Mama be big, got on her grind, she had to get out her mama house. Daddy be
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everybody to the eSpot with Camille. I am your host, Camille Cower, and I am super excited about you guys. Our guests today, they've been having a little bit of technical issues. We got on earlier, their screen was the wrong way and it was black and white. So once we figure that all out, they will be joining me. But until then, I thought I'd give you a little bit information about Alane and Yandrick, if you're not already familiar. Alane is a hairstylist and Yandrick is a senior consultant and entrepreneur, and they've been married for over 15 years. They have 4 children and are constantly juggling not only their busy work schedules, but also their busy social life, which I'm sure has made a big change with the pandemic. So I'm curious how they've been able to balance all of it all. I mean, between being reality stars on To Have and To Hold here in Charlotte, well, not here because I'm not in Charlotte, but I'm in North Carolina. So I consider them long neighbors or far neighbors, depending on how you look at it. So I'm just really curious at a lot of different things that they have going on, but more importantly, finding out how they got started with the reality show To Have and To Hold. I think there's so much information about how marriages can really be put through the test while being on a reality show. So I'm wondering how they were able to navigate it all. And they touched on some serious issues during the show, which normally can be the case for divorces, which is financial. So I wanted to show a little clip of the show while we're trying to figure out the tech stuff. So please bear with us. I hope when I come back, maybe they'll be with us or be with me, be with us, be with all of us. All right, here we go.
Aren't you gorgeous?
No, thank you.
How was your day? I've been seeing you.
It was long, but I'm glad I'm here.
I started a new venture in which I will be the importer of a high-end Grand Cru champagne. This will be Alane's first try of the champagne, so I want to get her reaction. I want to get her buy-in.
Would you like a glass of wine or a cocktail?
Absolutely, I would like a glass of wine. Oh, I need a glass of wine.
Yeah, I mean, you seem tense. Relax.
Yeah.
Relax.
I'm coming from work. I've had a long day, stressful day. So many clients.
So, what I wanted to talk about this evening, I've got an opportunity that I think is going to be very, very lucrative. I've told you about this. This is the champagne thing.
Yes. This champagne venture, he's trying to sell me on it, but entrepreneurship is very unpredictable, and I don't think it's a golden ticket opportunity.
So if you don't mind, this is the Grand Cru. This is one of the higher end bottles.
So this is
champagne. It even, look at that, it even pops right.
I like the pop.
That was a strong pop.
Exactly right.
All right, so love you, baby.
Cheers.
Cheers. You like it?
That's good.
All right. It's a new beginnings.
Yes.
Well, I know how hard you work. I want to get you away from that. I want to get you out of that. You gotta slow down. Gotta slow down a little bit. What keeps me up at night is seeing Alane aching and complaining about the pain that she's got, stretching to pay this bill and pay that bill. You know, my goal is to get to a point to where you don't have to work at all, to where you don't ever have to work.
I don't think this champagne venture is going to allow me to retire. Are you doing what you want to do and it makes you happy?
That's neither here nor there.
Really?
No. For me, I'm passionate about my family being happy. That's all that matters. I just want you to be happy. I know the struggle that you go through often, you know, the pain in the hands, the long hours you work, you know, just being on your feet all the time. I want you to be able to be around your kids more. You understand that? I don't want you to ever have to work. I don't want you to ever have to work again. So I'm trying my best to get us there.
Yandrick wants to give me and his family everything that he can possibly give us. He wants to be a sole provider. Yandrick, I got this. But the champagne venture will not change our lives overnight.
All right. And he was there and now he's gone. Oh, there you are. Yay!
Oh my goodness.
Technology's finally working. I'm so glad to finally meet both of you. How's everything going?
That was an insane process. My laptop just started acting up and we got it going, so.
Man, technology, when it works, it's amazing. But when it doesn't work, it's a stress like no other, because I don't know about you, but for myself, I am not very technically inclined sometimes. So it's very stressful. So how is everything going for you two? I just love that your wife is wearing pink. That is my favorite color. So we're going to start with ladies first. How are you doing, my beautiful guest?
During these times, I am not wearing a lot of makeup. I just did this for today. I'm very, very low key. I mean, I need to be 100% comfortable at all times. So, you know, everything's good. Everything's good.
Understandable, because you guys have 4 kids, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So are they all doing virtual academy? I know some are off to college, the older ones and so on. Or
Yes, she's actually done with college. She graduated from college last year. But we have 2 high schoolers that are virtually learning, and then our second grader is actually going into school full time.
So, okay. He is in school. Yeah. How's that process for you guys? What did it feel like letting it's so different letting your baby go to school the first time to school as opposed to now it's like pandemic where you just like, get out of my house, I'm done with you, or it was still the same.
Yes, get out my house. Somebody take them. I love the time together. I love the time with him, but no, he needs to be. I mean, really, all of them. I just think my children, everybody's learning differently. They need a little bit more structure, and I can't say, if they're getting any structure during the virtual learning.
Yeah, it's well, we're both in North Carolina, so it's kind of. I feel like there's a big learning curve for the teachers to learn how to teach virtually, but there's also an element for the students as well, where now they have to kind of change the way they've been learning everything. And I would agree that it has been a growing process, and structure is the key word, and that we're missing as well over here as well. I'm very grateful for iPhone alarms.
Yeah. That transition is tough, just along with with the technical issues that we just had, that's, going through all that with the kids. And I'm sure the educators are going through the same process right now. So it's a challenge and a transition for everyone across the board,
Absolutely. And it's one of those things we're all going through it globally. But now, speaking of globally, which really has nothing to do with my segue, but I want to start from the beginning, but because we had all the technical issues, I kind of got distracted, and the pink always throws me off because it's my favorite color. But I'm curious. So Alane, you're a hairstylist, and Yandrick, you have a career as an entrepreneur, as well as you've worked in the entertainment industry before as well. So what made you guys make the leap to reality show? Like, how did To Have and to Hold Charlotte come about?
I mean, I think it was a very natural transition. We met Wendy Creedle, who is the executive producer of that show, out at a sports bar one night, and she met a bunch of our friends. We do have a lot of married friends, and she's like, I don't see this in New York, which I thought was strange. But we have a lot of great married friends. And she's like,
what was it that she didn't see in New York?
a lot of happily married people that are friends, like real friends.
Young African American.
Yes, young African American people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see it very
Like,
rare.
you guys need to have a reality show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just you don't see those images of married couples, a lot of younger married couples on TV.
Especially happy.
Right, exactly.
Yes, we are 100% happy, honey.
But I mean, that's the thing, though. You showed all the realistic marriage. Like, it wasn't that perfect. Henry Cleaver, or I don't watch the show, but the term that everybody always uses.
Cosby.
It wasn't that. It was real. Well, I'm scared to use the pill Cosby anymore. But yeah, it wasn't the Cosby. It was real, true relationships where you guys had ups and downs. There was the financial part, the issues whether or not to work, not work. Those are real realities that marriages go through, and you guys weren't shy away from any of that, which I really appreciate. And I think younger couples will too, because they can see that you guys can go through these tough times and still be together. Like, you don't have to run for the door at first glance of problems.
I think, with the younger generation, it's now easier to leave when you see a problem, because financially they're like, okay, I'm still young. I have time to get out right now and live my life. Whereas back in the day, women, we just didn't have, well, not necessarily me, but they didn't have those type of opportunities to say, okay, I'm leaving, I'm out of here. Because a lot of times they stayed at home with the children and solely depended on their husbands. I think nowadays, the younger generation are waiting to get married until they're older and more financially responsible to jump into a relationship.
Yeah. Now, how did you two meet? Just to go back a little bit in time.
Go ahead, honey.
This is, these stories are always subjective, but I managed a team at this call center, one of my first jobs out of college, and she worked for another team, and so so this was kind of a fraternization workplace type situation that happened, and so I guess I had this haircut that was.
That's not how we first met.
All right, so how we first met is.
Don't skip over the good stuff.
How we first met is the night before we were at this party. I didn't know her. She was walking by, and she wore her hair in this afro, like this blonde colored afro, and so it was recognizable. It stood out. So the next day, I saw her walking by, and I stopped her, and I was like, "Hey, were you at that party?" It was this Adolf Shiver party, giving him a plug. But it was like, "Were you at that party last night?" And at Adolf's party, and she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Yeah, I was," and just kept moving, just kept walking with this, like attitude, like, "Why are you talking to me? You're not, you're not, you're not good enough to talk to me." So I'm like, whatever. Yeah, and I wasn't trying to talk to her or, holler at her or anything. I was just asking if she was at the party. I wasn't trying to really make conversation. I was just asking if she was there. And so she just kind of brushed me off.
You, but okay.
Yeah, right. So so then I guess maybe a month later or weeks later, I was kind of walking down the aisles helping some of my team members out. And I had a haircut that was kind of jacked up by my barber at the time. And he kind of cut my sideburns off.
too high. I don't know. So she pointed it out. She stopped me and pointed it out. She was like, what's going on with this? She's kind of cracking jokes, and she was a hairstylist, but she also cut hair. I guess dabbled in that. So she invited me over to correct that and fix my hairline. She invited me over.
Ask him if
Oh,
I fixed his hairline. No, I did not.
look, did
I
she
didn't
give
even
you
have
a
to pull out.
cleanup? Wait, what?
I didn't even have to pull out any trimmers or anything.
I was like, I heard the P word.
Yeah, no.
I was making sure trimmers. Oh.
Yes, that is that story is correct. But I think it was I thought he was attractive, but I did have a boyfriend at the time, and I just thought we was just gonna be really good friends. And really good friends turned out to be husband and wife
For over 15 years, though, so it worked. Fraternizing at work and recognizing her from Adolph's party as well. It all worked out.
He was a persistent person. I mean, I had a boyfriend. I let him know, like, listen, I have a boyfriend. But he really wanted to be my boyfriend. Like, okay, what do I have to do to be in the position that he's in?
No, I have to reel him in.
That's what he did. And he did.
You had to get a bad haircut.
He used to write
make
really
it happen.
long love letters, and they were really romantic. Ask me the last time I seen a love letter, child.
Like, how they get you is how they keep you. Hint, hint.
Thank you. Right. Thank you, girl.
Look, you don't have to do it on anniversaries, at least something. Pull out your best skill sets then. Now, so when you guys decided to do the reality show, were there any hesitations? Because you guys have such a solid relationship and you hear so many stories about relationships going on reality show and splitting, or they're making up things just for the storyline and just really causing all kinds of extra turmoil into marriage, which is already kind of, I wouldn't say it's tough, but you don't need external forces watching what you are doing in your house, giving you comments on how you should be married and so on as well, on top of everything else. How was that for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we made the decision. We felt like our marriage was strong enough to sustain that, to go through that. We felt like what we had would resonate with people out there. And we just wanted to provide that example of a couple that goes up and down, but finds their way through it. So that was, I think, the guiding force in our decision in doing that. And just knowing that we were able to go through it, get through it. In addition to that, most of the cast members we were all good friends prior to. So we all walked in together as a group saying, you know what, we have each other's back. If no one else has each other's back, we do. We know what the truth is. We know what isn't. Right. So we had all that as a support and just made the decision to pursue it.
That's awesome. I mean, I forget about the fact that you guys were real friends before the show as well. Now, was there ever a time during all of the filming that maybe some of your friends that weren't on the show, they're kind of like, hey, why didn't you guys include me? Or do we get to be in the sequel or any of that as well? Or was there any, I guess, even issues that were brought up during filming that you guys had to kind of fix through with your friendships? Because adult friendships can be very difficult. And the fact that you guys have found such great couple friends where you guys all get along together and can take trips together, I would have to admit, I'm like your friend in New York where I don't see that very often. So weren't you scared of even those friendships maybe falling apart?
Well, in reality,
while you respond, I'm going to fix this light. I got you. Excuse me.
As much as I love
the sweetheart. And it was like at one point it was really pretty rays on you, and then it went from a point of
I'm like, I can't see.
So thoughtful. Aw, see? That's his love language.
When you think about your friends, they didn't say, oh, why didn't you ask us? Because we didn't really have that choice. She saw the certain couples, and that's how she formed the group, because there were all of us were friends. But going into filming with our friends, we didn't come out of filming with some of our friends.
Oh
So,
no.
you
Okay.
know, you think that you know someone well enough that it can sustain the friendship, but in
Mhm.
reality, it's not true.
Oh,
It's
that's
not.
sad.
It was pretty bad.
Oh no. Wait. I don't want to be that person, but kind of do because the Wendy Williams in me is like, but wait, which couple? No, but I won't do that. We'll move ahead because
Most
I
of
think,
them.
No,
oh, well, I think that's very common also to think about when people enter into the entertainment industry. You don't always keep your friends with you. Like there is a part that maybe you found out your friendships were a little more toxic or maybe narcissistic or whatever it may be. And friendships do come to an end or a reason for a season or whatever, a time and reason for each person or a season. Now, do you like, how do you even maneuver that? If you guys, are you going to do a season 2 or no word yet?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I don't think so, and and I think COVID put a damper on things as well.
Mhm.
So it just kind of fizzled out at this point.
Yeah.
Um, there are some other opportunities that we can't discuss that we might be working on, but
Yeah.
it's just at this point, this is I think it's fizzled out. I think it's fizzled out.
Well, I mean, to be honest, you guys are my favorite couple, and a lot of times I would
Oh,
fast forward
thank
some
you.
of the other ones because I was like, really, that's what we're. I mean,
So
being a mom,
what
I just couldn't.
what makes us your favorite couple?
Well, I loved that you guys. Well, I love that Elaine had a very strong personality. That she was very much an alpha female in a way where a lot of times they always want to show Southern wives, especially Black wives, being a little bit more submissive. And so I love that she would go tat for tat with you and that you guys would have each other's back if right, wrong, or indifferent. We'll fix it when we're not in public type of thing. Like you guys didn't really air out your laundry, so to speak, in front of each other in a way that was damaging to each other. Like you guys used language with each other that you could tell you've been around each other long enough that you can say things and complain without it coming out in a way that would be
Sorry.
under the belt. No, that's okay.
I'm like, what are you
I'm like,
doing? It was totally fine. There you go, like
See, I mean,
messing it
look
up.
at the
No, that's because the blinds won't.
I know she's got the one line.
yeah. I mean,
There. Perfect.
got the one line. I'm sorry. I was just trying to fix that.
No, that's okay. Like,
Yeah.
as long as I can hear you.
Yeah, and thank you for that. I was listening as I was adjusting,
Yeah.
And we just try to have that balance, and I think her personality is just what kind of not drives our relationship, but just keeps it healthy and keeps us both on our toes. She's got a dynamic personality that that was what people were drawn to on the show, and just in general, just as a person, as an individual. Her friends. She's got a huge network of friends. We both do, but people just kind of are drawn to her personality. It's super unique. Can't really be explained, and it's not something you come across often. So at all.
I mean, seriously, you're about to make me tear up. I mean, he might not do the poetry anymore, but girl, just out of nowhere could just list all the wonderful qualities about you. Okay, now your turn about him. No, I'm kidding.
I got my cheat sheet right here.
He's great with words. Like he knows how to use his words, manipulate the words, and put them on you.
Manipulate. I don't.
Yes, you can. Yes,
it's
you
not
can manipulate the
manipulation.
words too.
He's a word poet. Got it.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah. So now, speaking of all that, like, so you worked in entertainment before as well, and I did some Googling and found this out that you did a U.S. Airways commercial. I found, gosh, what was it? This not CIAA. I'm like
Applebee's, NASCAR,
South Park Magazine, a few things. So tell us a little bit about your acting and modeling career as well.
I jokingly I was that token Black guy that was in a lot of these commercials. in our casting calls, we'd go. I was with an agency, and you'd see the same people all the time, and and they pick me. So I guess I had that token black guy look.
I'm surprised we hadn't run into each other because I've been the token black girl on a lot of things. But usually I don't get a husband. Every once in a while I get a husband.
Yeah, I guess I was the safe looking black guy, But so I would get those NASCAR and Coke and Applebee's and some others, but it was a passion of mine at the time, and I was met at a crossroads. I had to make a decision, head out to LA. My agency wanted me to head out to LA and do that whole backpack, live in your car situation. And I was already married, kids.
Alane's like, nope.
So I was like, do I love it that much to do that?
Right.
No. So it was it became more of a hustle. I get an audition, go do that, and and see some residual checks come in monthly from a commercial, which used to hit really good during that time. So I miss it. I miss those days. I miss the grind of the casting calls and trying to remember lines the night before, just to all that. So I think you mentioned that you did that as well. What was your?
So I'm with Directions USA out of Greensboro.
Absolutely.
So
you guys got all the Belk.
Yeah.
You guys got all the Belk deals.
Belk, Lowe's, all the furniture jobs, Lazy Boy, Rhodes, you name it. They do a lot with I can't think of. There's another clothing brand, but anyway, back to you. So when you made that decision to give it up, what was that like for you? Did you ever regret it? Do you feel like some of the skill sets you learned from that you can still use in what you're doing now? And share a little bit about what you're doing now as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's helped me to present myself more in a professional manner, to be more confident in standing up in front of people, speaking in front of people, just those types of things, projecting yourself, those types of things. So those skills have transferred over. I miss it at times, I do, but it wasn't that hard of a decision. It was either family or that. So just kind of, I was able to make that decision. So currently, and this might make good for, I currently, I just rolled off of an assignment. I was working directly for the Republican National Convention.
I know, the executive director or something, events director.
Yeah, I was, so I
was scared to mention it, but I wore my Joe pin to counteract it.
That's cool. No, I was hired to liaise between the Republican National Convention and the city of Charlotte. So I was really focused on bringing bringing contracts to small local businesses in Charlotte. Mm-hmm. So that was my role. The mayor, our Democratic mayor, recommended that I look into that role and take that role to be that person to liaise between the RNC and the Charlotte corporate community and the city. So it was a great experience, and I wanted to be in that position to give back to Charlotte, to pull in our people, to pull in our to pull in minority contracts. We had to pivot several times, as you may know, and so my role changed and expanded. So now I'm working on I'm working on some other projects now, but all of that has prepared me for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So
no, I love that we can talk about, because so many people who are watching are probably actors or work in the film industry, just to hear how you were able to transition into a more corporate life, I guess, profession, and still use those same skill sets. And of course, I'm not gonna let you off that easy with how your role with RNC. I want to know more. Like, were you there during the whole convention? Were you wearing a mask? What was going on? Did you feel safe? Like, what was it like?
Yeah, I was there. I was there for the entire convention. I was in DC. I was on the White House lawn. I was in Baltimore for Vice President Trump's
President
acceptance.
Oops.
Huh? I'm sorry. Vice President Pence, excuse me, in Baltimore for Vice President Trump's acceptance speech in Fort McHenry in Baltimore, and we wore masks at all times. We tried to social distance. We were trying to be as social distant as possible. In the crowd, in the stands where we had the chairs spaced out, so we were cognizant of that. Yeah. And it was an experience. It was, nonetheless, being at the White House and, being amongst, your congressmen and your senators and all that was an interesting space that I've never been in before.
No, I can only imagine. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah,
it was a fly on the wall.
Yeah,
in a very crazy room. Not crazy room. That sounds horrible, but a very a room.
Dynamic.
Yeah, kind of with a target on your back. It was just in the Raleigh location where a girl or a guy, I can't remember now, was punched in the face just being at a convention. Well, this was when they were running originally. So I've just, with my husband's company, we do a lot of volunteering with the presidential campaign. And so we went to almost every single president that came to talk, or president-elect that came to talk in the Raleigh area. And I opted out of Trump's just because I was like, I'm too scared of the audience. Even though that we would be somewhat separated in a way where they would know that we're there part of Teamsters, it was still a matter of, I wouldn't feel safe because my mouth might end up saying things that would make it obvious that I'm not a Trump supporter. But at the same time, what if based on looking at me, you would assume I'm not. So, well, I'm glad you made it safely. And I'm glad also that you were able to bring business to Charlotte, because Charlotte had, we just recently lost the CIAA. So that's a big convention that on a yearly. Well, we had it first up here in Raleigh, and you guys took it from us.
Yeah,
we
had to take it because it wasn't. No offense to you guys, but it wasn't done.
No,
right.
There's no support. Yeah,
we had to do it. We just had to do it better because it just wasn't done the right way.
So now they're leaving us.
Whoa, are they? I'm not getting in this Raleigh-Charlotte fight because Charlotte signs a lot of my paychecks, but I live in Raleigh. So what he said it. Oh, and you went to UNC Charlotte, so there's also that part of it too.
That's right. I'm a Charlotte guy, even though I'm born and raised in New York. I'm Charlotte home.
I didn't realize that. Well, I was going to ask anyway because your name. Oh, it kills me. The spelling of it has been my Achilles heel this entire week where I'm like, it's AI. So I still can't get it. So how do you pronounce your names, both of you, to make sure it's correct?
It's Alane and Yandrick Paraison. My family's from Haiti.
Oh, okay. I don't know any French other than Bon Appetit, so I'll stop there.
Wow.
So, back to with your events or with your new projects that you have, are they going to also still be in Charlotte, or is it beyond North Carolina that you're going to be your next venture? Okay.
It'll be, we're in Charlotte. Absolutely. Home.
Yeah. So now with so many events being virtual, I know RNC wasn't virtual, obviously, but what do you see for the future of events since you're working with so many different events already, and Alane, even with hosting so many events, you guys are the socialites of Charlotte. So how are you guys keeping your status on a virtual world? Or I guess maybe Charlotte's more open than Raleigh. I don't know.
Well, I'm always, I'm offended by people putting titles on folks because I don't like to have titles. Because I think, it really doesn't matter what you do. It matters who you are. And luckily, I'm from this city. So, of course, I'm going to know a lot of people in this city. And, some people are like, oh, well, I don't know her. Well, I don't know you either. And it's okay. But I hope to meet you one day. I think with me and my husband, philanthropy is really big. Normally, we would go to events and galas of such, but now they're all virtual. And I think it's kind of hard. You wanting to get dressed up, but in reality, you're saving a lot of money, and that money can go directly to organizations right now when it comes to events. Whereas you would be spending money on the venue and the food and so forth. Now, a lot of these nonprofits and organizations can get a brunt of the money that they would not normally be able to get. So I love that about the whole virtual thing.
Right. And not to mention a greater audience too, because they're not limited by location.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love virtual. I mean, I think a lot of people are so over like Zooms and, Microsoft Teams and whatever, platforms they have. But I absolutely love it.
Tell them about the Zoom that you set up. So for someone that doesn't work in corporate America, she is a Zoom just expert master. And when we first dropped into this COVID thing, and she was on Zoom. She purchased a subscription, and wanted to get 100 plus people onto a Zoom, all of her friends. So tell them about Zoom.
Well, it's not even that big of a deal. But when you think about somebody as extroverted as myself, who loves being around people, I get my energy from people. I love people. And I like to see my girlfriends. I like to see, when we hang out as couples, I want to see what's going on. So it's basically an impromptu couple check-in. So I sent out an invitation the day of. I said, hey, impromptu check-in. Here's the Zoom link. Join. You don't have to stay on long. You can join. Let me know that you're okay. Everything's good. You're looking good. You're feeling good. And, you can log back off. And it took off. I was like, a lot of people.
And the thing is that everyone's doing it now, but I think she was, to my knowledge, among the first to really, really embrace it, do it well, expand it. Before everybody started jumping on Zoom calls, we were having couples Zoom calls, and we did something for her birthday. We had 100 plus people.
Wait! You guys got to give us more details about some of these things. So, what kinds of things are you doing? Because this is kind of new normal. So maybe we can get some tips.
I had a DJ. I got a DJ to DJ our Zoom call. So people are doing this now, but no one was doing this before when I was.
No, I love this. I've had several DJs on. This is amazing.
After that, everybody had a DJ on a Zoom call after our stuff.
Okay,
but anyhow,
quick minute. I just have to say, Alane, when you drink out of that chalice, it makes me think of Games of Thrones every time, especially when he was talking about his RNC experience. I was like, okay, queen.
These are amazing. These are actually coupe glasses, sterling silver. And I got them from an antique place because I love glasses. I love glasses, something very unique, because I like to make craft cocktails. And I picked that up during COVID when I wasn't able to go into the salon. So I end up through Zoom having craft cocktail classes, sending people out the recipe. Yeah. Because I ended up thinking okay, we have a young lady, Tamu. She has this wonderful Liberate Your Palate. She does cocktail classes. I was like, oh my God, I can do this with my friends. And I wouldn't charge them, she's her business, and she was doing that in person. She was making money, but now she turned virtual, and I was like, this is freaking perfect. And I started doing it with my clients. I even gave them, listen, tell me your favorite drinks, send us the recipe so we all can do them at the same time, and you can try it. Oh, it's so much fun. And you have to have a personality. Nobody wants to see somebody boring on screen,
take 2 cups of syrup, take this much.
The moderators. Oh my God, the Zoom moderators. Sometimes it's why did you hire a journalist, a written journalist? They're introverts. They ask great questions, but So you're right.
I love some introverts though. I call my introvert friends the silent bosses, because that's what they are. They're not all, rah-rah, because they don't have to be. So any of my introvert friends out there, just know you are always a silent boss to me.
Just don't be moderating the Zooms if it's for fun.
No. You can't. And they wouldn't want to. That's the thing.
No, yeah.
But
I think it's work related. Yeah.
If you have stock in Zoom when it first came out, you are doing pretty well for yourself, is what I'm going to say.
Absolutely.
So what other events or I guess couple themed things do you guys do on Zooms as well? Because we were talking about this even for dating, just finding new ways to keep it spicy. And since you guys have been married for such a long time, maybe even advice on that as well, what you guys are doing in virtual world to stay connected and keep the romance going when you're in pajamas 24/7.
I think that is a great idea. I would love to do like some type of like dating Zoom thing where it's single people on there and you try
Yeah,
to
like a
hook
dating
them up,
game.
like matchmaking kind of. Because we do a couple things all the time. I do a girlfriend check-in, kind of like what OWN does on TV, where you get your girlfriends, you check in on them. Yandrick, he has a whiskey and cigar with 3 other his friends, and he ended up getting his whiskey cigar on Zoom. They shared their cigars, their whiskeys. I mean, it's basically taking what you did when you were able to see one another and coming on Zoom and talking about it. Because in reality, I love the fact that men are able to get together and have their testimonies with one another, congregate with one another, build each other up. That's something that he needs because he knows that that's something that I need as well when I'm with my
It's
girlfriend.
so important. It's so
So
important.
anything you can have on Zoom, anything you can have on Zoom.
But
I mean,
but in terms of like in the dating piece, just some
I think that'd be
some
so
ideas. I mean, we haven't really done that a lot. For some reason,
Well, we would.
a lot of our friends are married, so it's like we're just already
not
with
gonna date
married
on Zoom.
people.
We're not.
Yeah.
We're not like,
well, I mean, like couple dates, like or couple events, I guess, that you guys are doing themed that way.
Games you can play. You can play a lot of games on Zoom. They have like a bingo game. One of my girlfriends, she did like a karaoke where you signed up to what kind of song you wanted to sing, and it was your turn. And honey, you were singing in the background. We're joining you in the background. They were your background singers. I thought it was amazing.
Oh, how fun!
I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm loving that. Now, bringing this all up, I just thought about it. Luckily your younger son, he's at school, but for those of us who have our kids even in virtual academy, they're not getting that social piece. So I really hope that they figure out a way to add that dynamic for Zoom as well, or maybe kids can find a more safe, interactive way that they can engage with each other besides video games.
You can do it yourself, though. I always say, I'm not going to wait for somebody else to do something, because when I think about getting play dates and my kids couldn't hang out, I end up calling all their friends like, hey, y'all gonna get on the Zoom. Y'all gonna all be there together talking about, what we're missing, what we're not missing. Even with my son, they did that with his friends, his little friend group. They all got on there. They had like a scavenger hunt in the house. There's so many ideas you can come up with because COVID COVID clearly has let us know that we don't necessarily need to be out and about all the time.
No.
We can have fun in the privacy of our own homes. We can do things in the privacy of our own homes. We are seeing each other. This is probably the most I've ever seen my family because I was working so much. I see my family often, and I love that. And I think it's given us like a reason to just sit still because we're always moving and shaking. When it comes to what's going on in the world, where people are seeing, police brutality, where Black people have been knowing about police brutality for years and years and years. Now all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Well, it's because you're sitting still. You're not able to go anywhere. So I love the fact that we are sitting still.
But let's keep it real, though. Let's keep it real.
What's your butt?
But being home at times can drive you insane.
Yeah.
It can. So it does. It is. You can get insane. You can go crazy at times because you're used to a certain way. You're used to being in the office. Just interacting with other people. Just getting in your car and going somewhere. And when you're home and you're relegated to, the confines of your house, you can go stir crazy. And so you've got to find a way to balance that out. There's only so many Zoom calls that you can be on. After a while, you're like, okay, what else?
No,
so
you have to pick up the phone. Pick up the phone.
I get
People
it.
don't want to do that anymore. Pick up the phone. Call your friends.
FaceTime is the
I get
best.
that.
Yeah.
But like
I
physically,
love picking up the
like
phone.
physically,
Talking to my friends.
You're right. Absolutely. And I think that's something that's a lost art.
Dead.
That's a lost art because we're so used to, now we text so much. We don't pick up the phone anymore, and
People don't even know how to
lose
talk
that.
to you anymore. They're like,
But
hello?
but it's
Can
Yeah.
you hear me now?
Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Exactly.
That's not hello, but yes, I can hear you now.
It's so true. I feel bad. I mean, I feel bad for a lot of parents that have to go into their jobs and have virtual learners. I mean, even the ones that have to remotely work from home, it is so difficult. No one ever thought about parents when they thought about virtual learning. All they were thinking about were the kids. Like, oh, well, you know what? We got to be safe. We got to keep the kids at home, but not thinking about these parents that actually have to work while their kids are actually in school. And that was a little bit, I was a little bit bothered about that because I have a lot of friends that work and they're like, what am I going to do now? Like nobody's thinking about, okay, an option A, B, and C for the parents.
Right. There's
They're
really
like,
not many
they want
middle
A, B, and C
grounds.
for kids. But then it just turns into, okay, you're not coming to school. It's like, okay, so now you're forcing us to try to figure out a way to have our children learn virtually and pray that they're getting what they are learning.
I mean, part of me is like, everybody's going through it. This is a global pandemic. No one is not going through it, so to speak. Education, although very important, it's not going to be the number one thing right now in the sense of there's a pandemic outside. It's like there's more. You're alive, you're healthy. What more can I ask for in a sense? Granted, I do wish that there was a nice middle ground because I mean, I'm married to someone who's an essential worker. He's been out working this entire time. Like he's completely oblivious to my fears because I've been home the whole time, pretty much like girl in the bubble almost. And we took my daughter out for the first time a couple of weeks ago and we were just like, oh, this is what life is like again. Because we went to the lake and nobody had a mask on except for us. Like no one.
Wow. Well, that's kind of scary when nobody is, following the guidelines of wearing a mask, and you're kind of finally getting out for almost like the first time with your family. And you want to protect your family, but you're around people that clearly don't care.
No.
Yeah, I have a problem with that too.
Yeah, but at the same time, it gave me that feeling of maybe we can find a nice little middle ground where I'm not completely being my germ-phobic crazy self, because much like yourself, I'm an extrovert. That's why I created this podcast from home, because I was like, well, I'm not going in the radio station. I need to figure out a way to do this from home. Now, location isn't a limitation anymore. I can get my West Coast friends to interview because I'm not doing it part of the morning drive anymore. And it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. Yay, let me talk about work at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's true. Like us extroverts definitely needed a way out to still communicate with others, meet new people. Because with working in research, I was going to comedy clubs every weekend, or I was going to events to meet people there was always something to do. And now it's like, oh, I can do nothing. Like Netflix and chill could be, that could have been the worst of me. I could have totally delved into that. But anywho, everybody needs to go. Say what?
You some stuff. It's like so much stuff. I'm gonna send you some stuff. You're gonna
Please
have to
do.
join.
Please do,
because I know you'll say something. Because you get on some of these Zooms, you're like, okay, am I gonna be the only one talking? I hope not, because this is
not me.
Really
well, granted, some of the networking events I like to go just to listen because I just like their stories are so fascinating. But sometimes I'm like, ooh, all right, let's go, let's talk, share what's been going on, what you guys been doing. Like the normal conversations as opposed to interviewing conversations that I kind of have now.
Right.
But wow. So speaking of binging, though, people can still watch The Having to Hold on Charlotte on OWN and different apps as well. It's still available, and hopefully we'll see you guys on the small and little screen and big screen maybe soon in other capacities. You never know. They're not even giving me a hint. Like, I'm just trying to get any tails. Remember when I had the body language expert on here? I'm just trying to see if I can tell anything. No, I'm kidding. They didn't teach me how to tell that kind of stuff. Because if it did, I would be playing poker. Now, thank you guys so much for joining. And then whenever I come down to Charlotte, I have to come and find out where the party's at through you guys. Because clearly you still know where to go, whether it's from your computer screen or if you're driving there.
It might be from a computer screen. Parties, there's no parties going on.
It might be a lot.
We haven't been to a party in so long.
But we can always get together for dinner or brunch.
But when that time comes and the world reopens, we'd love to host you and you come out here and hang out with us. We've got you.
Yeah, your whole family. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't tell you I have 10 kids. I just have one. I mean, you didn't even blink. That's why I'm kind of impressed. I'm like, I look sane enough to have 10 kids and do this?
We have 4. So 4 is like 10. So
pretty much. That's what I try to tell people. After 3, it's all the same.
That's right. Right.
4, really after 2. After 2, it's you're like, oh my God, I can have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I'm outnumbered regardless at this point.
You're good at 1. You're a one and doneer? Or
yep, I'm an only child, and I gave birth to an only child.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. After 3, what happens? Like, you literally have to get a new car. You literally have to move from a sedan to a truck or a Jeep because you can't fit your kids and you can't smash your kids in the back seat of a sedan.
That's not 3.
And I am not the van type.
So it totally changes, totally.
Well, you guys are lucky nowadays. They have the three rows SUVs even, because I was like, I'm not having kids where I have to have a van.
With children, period, you need an SUV because they're going to play sports, they're going to do things, they're going to have friends. You're going to have to tote them sometimes.
Tote your stuff, their stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's a balancing act. I mean, I think even with you guys both working outside of the home, inside of the home, and all of that, like, balancing act, regardless, it's a balancing act, whether you have 1 kid, 4 kids, or no kids, especially now, because the one thing I don't like about virtual, it seems like there's no off switch. Like, there's no time down. Like, every day is a business day 24/7. People can reach you, whether it's through social media, emails, phone calls, Zoom.
Right.
It's just 24/7 on that sense. And that's the part I'm curious how you guys because I love that when I was looking through your social media, that it wasn't like every 5 minutes I'm posting. It was like, as needed. You guys know I'm busy. I don't need to post every single minute of my life.
Yes.
I feel bad though. I mean, because I haven't posted in a while. Like
2019.
I haven't posted in a while because when my last post probably on my Instagram is the protest after George Floyd. And then I just started seeing so much, and it was just a little bit too much for me because I have Black sons. And I'm like, I can't even fathom to post my drink or to post my outfit or to post my dinner because it's just way more important things going on in the world that I can't post anything right now. But I'm trying to get back. I'm trying to.
But you were never really
I didn't post every day.
She never was.
I don't have time.
I mean, what kind of hairstylist are you? They're supposed to post every hairdo they do.
I mean, there are hairdressers, and I commend them that are able to post there because I do so much more than hair. So a lot of people that don't even really know me probably won't even know me as a hairdresser. That's the thing. I'm just out in the city. They're like, okay, what does she do? Who is she? Well, I'm Alane. That's all you need to know. So for hairstylists that have time to post things and build up their, brand, I think it's absolutely amazing. I just don't have time.
It's free advertisement. It's amazing. No,
it is.
It's even better if your clients tag you. Even easier.
Oh my God.
Thanks. Because that's what I look at for hairstylists anyway. I look at their tagged pictures to see what their clients look like because they're going to post their perfect picture. Yeah.
Straight grassroots, like word of mouth. 95 to 98% of my clients came from referrals.
Right. Wow.
So it's good.
Well, do you have any last minute tips for hair during a pandemic? I'm not going natural. I keep saying this to almost every other hairstylist because I'm still the last girl that's still
You're not going natural.
I can't do it.
You can't.
I don't want to shave my hair. I don't want to cut it.
You don't have to shave your hair. I took 100% of my clients. 100% of my clients, I took natural. There's no one that I know that would sit in my chair that has a relaxer. Not one.
You saying that you don't? You don't.
I don't have any clients that have relaxers.
But you wouldn't. But if they had relaxers.
I mean, if they have relaxers, I have a really good gift of gab. That you're not gonna let that thing go. Because I have to say, it really determines the texture of your hair and what you do, what you do in life. How is your lifestyle? If you got some tight, coarse, fight you hair, you probably need to go and stick with a relaxer because you're not going to be able to do it. You're going to be in the hairdresser. You're going to be at the hairdresser all day long. But if you don't, which you probably don't, you can grow it out, girl. Especially during COVID, honey. During COVID, we've been in COVID for like 4 months. You can have 4 months of new growth right now.
That was my big splurge, was going to my hairstylist. Like, I wasn't willing to go I didn't go to get my mammogram, didn't go to my doctor's appointments, didn't do any of that. No.
I'm not doing anything.
My relaxer, let's go. Get rid of them grays, lady. Like, double the pay, like, she didn't even have to style me. I was like, I'll blow dry and everything at home. Just put it in, same price, same tip.
Did you call it a hair-demic? Is that what you just called? Is that what you called it earlier? A hair-demic?
It was for me. It was for me. For those of us over 40 years old, it is a hair-demic because we can't go around looking like skunks. And because I do work in the entertainment industry, I have to look like my comp cards 24/7. So that's the other part of it. Is like, if I cut my hair, then how long will it be before I can work? Until it gets to the Halle Berry length, I guess, maybe, or who knows.
You don't have to shave it off. There's so many ways you can wear your hair without. How often do you get a relaxer?
Every 6 weeks, 6-7 weeks.
And you probably don't even need to go every 6-7 weeks. You could probably stretch that out and realize there's so many styles, so many protective styles. I mean, honey, the weave game has just changed the game. Weaves and wigs and braids. And they have completely changed the game where people don't have to put so much heat on their hair that you'd be surprised someone with a weave, you automatically assume that they don't have hair. But in reality, their hair is longer than the weave hair.
Well, see, here's the thing. I remember back when I used to wear weaves on a regular, back in the 90s, the price point was realistic. It was like $200 frame, including the hair sometimes around now it's like in the $1,000 range, $600 or plus for an installation.
Honey.
And because you're getting the Beyonce level hair, and I don't have Beyonce level bank account. Like, I can't be affording to have the same type of hair Beyonce has so that it looks not. Because, I hate when it gets that like bird's nest in the back because it's the cheaper hair. Like, you make one turn and it's a bird's, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
as opposed to it stays untangled.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
That's
like,
why you got to get some good hair, girl.
And then I'll see in advertisements, because most of the gigs I work on, being the token, they're not edited by blacks. So then next thing you know, your lace front is giving it away, and they're not editing that part off of you. They're not blending it in because they have no clue. So no,
You're right.
I might get clip-ins, but that's not it.
I look at situations like that. Situations I've been on, like editorial shoots.
Yeah.
They really always they try to say, okay, well, we need to have a black person on this shoot because we have black hair, but majority of it, they don't have like stylists that can do the black hair. And you look at some of these commercials and movies and you're like, what in the world? Why did they do that to that person? Because their real hair probably looks better than what they try to do with this.
Right.
But
they're saving it, they're protecting it, like you said, because the hairstylist clearly doesn't know what they're doing. So they're protecting it with a wig just in case. And even the wig looks bad. So imagine what their real hair might have looked like.
That part.
So.
Oh, I can't about hair all day.
Yeah. All day. I used to work in spas, so I could talk beauty all day long because I was an esthetician. Carpal tunnel got me too, girl. Oh, so.
Me too.
Yep. And that was the other part of the show that I could relate to. I was just like, oh, that happened to me too. But anyway, it is 7:03. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really appreciated meeting both of you, and share if there's anything that you guys want to share to promote, or if there's anything coming up, or where they can kind of follow you on social media in case you guys post anything in the next 6 to 20 years. No, I'm kidding.
I'm gonna try to post some stuff. I'm gonna try.
Yo, what's your
No,
your
you
handle?
go ahead. Go ahead.
She probably
can
doesn't even
find- I guess her what is it? Miss Paraison. It's
I'm a Mrs.
MRS Paraison and Yandrick _P. Yandrick _P is where you can find us. But yeah, you know, we're just trying to make it through COVID at this time and keep the family strong and support our friends at this point. So that's where we're at.
Well, I appreciate it. And thank you guys again. And shout out to Sean for hooking us up and introducing us. I really appreciate it.
Shout out to
Yes,
Sean
thank you so
Dudley.
much for having us.
That was my pleasure. All right. You guys have fun in the Queen City and stay safe.
All right. See you soon.
Absolutely. Like, I'll be down once the pandemic's over.
I know that's all right. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Oh, how much fun were they? So we made a new couple friend today from To Have and To Hold, Charlotte edition from OWN. They were so much fun. Yandrick and Alane. Feel free to follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and you can check out To Have and To Hold on OWN still and everywhere that they show their app, I guess. So again, thank you for joining. Tomorrow I will have former NBA superstar champion Josh Powell, who played for the Lakers, Clippers, you name it, he played it. But more importantly, he paid for the Wolfpack. All right. So another North Carolina, resident, sort of, kind of. I guess that counts. And then on Thursday, I will be back with Jay Bailey for Talk Back Thursday. And our special guest will be Captain from the Panthers, Canther Munler. Oh, I'm so bad with last names. Munler? We'll find out Thursday. He'll correct me then. And so he's my guest Thursday, or our guest Thursday on Talk Back Thursday. So I appreciate if you guys would like, share, comment, make sure you subscribe, make sure you keep coming back and tell your friends, tag some friends that should be watching, subscribe to my podcast on everywhere that podcast can be found, whether it's Anchor, Spotify, you name it, I'm on it, Google, Droids, everywhere. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great night, and I will see you again tomorrow.
In this ring, she gon' tell you where she bought it, cause she know you can't afford it. Know you can get it, looking exquisite, no competition, stay on the pivot. Who be watching, they be plotting, she so motherfucking independent. Yeah.